Let's get brutally honest. Ever wonder why, despite everything you do, they're still not choosing you? You're there every time they call, dropping everything for them, bending over backward to make them happy, hoping they'll finally see your worth. But here's the truth. It's not making you look valuable. It's making you look desperate. It's like pouring water into a bottomless pit, hoping one day it'll fill up, when all it's doing is draining you dry. Let's face it, when you're always available, dropping your own priorities just to keep them happy, you're not coming across as the prize. You're coming across as an option, a convenience. And deep down, you know that's not how you want to be seen. You don't want to be the backup plan or the safe option. You're supposed to be the one thing they can't live without. Think about it this way. Imagine you're a priceless diamond. If you threw that diamond in a bargain bin with a take-it-for-free sign, how would people treat it? They'd take it for granted. Because if something is easy to get, easy to hold, and always available, people assume it has no real value. And that's the trap you're in right now. Giving all your energy, time, and focus to someone who's not willing to lift a finger to keep you. You're the diamond in the bargain bin, hoping someone will finally see your worth. But that's not how people work, and that's not how attraction works. If they don't have to work for you, they won't value you. Plain and simple. And here's the harsh reality. People don't respect what they don't have to earn. Think about it. You've been so available, so willing to give, that they don't see you as something special. They see you as a given, as something that's always there, just waiting around. And nobody wants to choose someone who has no sense of their own worth, someone who's practically begging for their attention. It's time to flip the script. Instead of being that person who's always there, always bending over backward, you need to become the person they want to be around. Imagine pulling back, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Imagine focusing on your own life, your own goals, building a world so big and so vibrant that they can't help but want to be a part of it. That's what Stoicism teaches us, that real power comes from valuing yourself, from not giving your energy away so easily. It's not about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about genuinely building a life where you're the priority, not them. So here's the deal. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop being an option and start being a priority. Subscribe for more content like this, because today is the day we're going to change the way you think about yourself and the way others see you. This isn't about tricks or games. This is about becoming someone who doesn't need anyone's approval to feel whole. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to make them choose you. Not through chasing or begging, but by transforming yourself into someone they can't ignore. Think about the times you've waited by your phone, hoping for a message, checking it every 5 minutes, thinking maybe today is the day they'll finally see you. Isn't it exhausting? It's like being on a hamster wheel, running in circles, but never getting anywhere. And what's worse, it's making you miserable. You're sitting around, waiting, hoping, practically begging for a crumb of their attention. But here's the hard truth. They're not going to value you if you don't value yourself. Now, let's flip that image. Imagine not being the one who's always available. Imagine being the one who's focused on their own goals, the one who's got something going on, who's busy with a life they're passionate about. Imagine the power shift when they realize you're no longer there, waiting on them to make a move. Suddenly, you're not the one seeking attention. You're the one commanding it without even trying. Here's a challenge for you. Instead of waiting for them to choose you, choose yourself. Stop making them the center of your life. Make yourself the priority. Say it out loud. I'm choosing myself first. Write it in the comments. Yes, write down, I'm choosing myself first, because that's where real attraction starts. It starts when you value yourself enough to know you're worth more than the role of backup plan. When you stop giving all of yourself without them working for it, you create a new kind of energy around you. You become someone worth noticing. You become the one who's so strong, so confident, so focused on your own path that people are naturally drawn to you. Because here's the truth, people are drawn to strength, to purpose, to someone who doesn't need others to complete them. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Stick with me, because in this video, we're going to go over 7 powerful Stoic techniques that will shift the entire dynamic. These aren't quick tricks or cheap tactics. These are real, time-tested principles that put you back in control. When you start living with this kind of self-respect, you're not just raising the bar for yourself, you're raising the bar for anyone who wants to be in your life. You're no longer just an option, you're someone people want to be around. Imagine the look on their face when they realize you're no longer waiting around, that you're busy building a life they can only dream of being part of. This isn't just about making them want you, it's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need their validation to feel whole. And trust me, there's nothing more attractive than that. So let's stop playing games. Let's stop begging for attention. Let's start building a life where you are the main character, not a supporting role in someone else's story. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact tools to transform yourself, not into someone who's waiting to be chosen, but into someone who chooses themselves first. Are you ready for this? Let's get into it. And remember, real power comes from within. Number 1. Master detachment. So folks, you might think that pouring all your attention, time, and energy into someone will make them finally choose you. You might believe that by being always there, showing endless support, and never missing a chance to prove yourself, they'll wake up one day and see you as the one. But here's the reality. When you give everything so freely, you're not making yourself more valuable in their eyes. You're making yourself less visible. Like water spilled across a table, your attention becomes something they don't even notice, something they can take for granted. Let me introduce you to a concept that changes this dynamic entirely: mastering detachment. Now, I'm not saying you should stop caring or that you need to play cold-hearted games. This isn't about being indifferent. It's about finding the balance to protect your own energy, your own self-worth. You're no longer throwing yourself at someone else's feet, hoping they'll pick you up. You're standing tall, steady, and showing that your life isn't dependent on their attention. This is where Stoic detachment steps in, and it's a game changer. Think of it this way. You're a rare, priceless gem, but instead of putting yourself in a place where only those who truly value you can access, you're out there, easy to reach, just lying around for anyone to grab. By being constantly available, you're cheapening your own worth. And the truth is, people are drawn to what they have to work for, to what feels rare and valuable. When you embrace detachment, you're not turning away from love or respect. You're creating space for them to come to you. The Stoics believed that true power comes from within, from not needing someone else's validation to feel whole. Epictetus put it perfectly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Right now, all your energy is tied up in wanting their approval, in wanting to be seen by them. Imagine if you could just let that go. Imagine not being weighed down by the endless desire to be noticed, to be appreciated by someone who might not even see you fully. When you detach from this need, you create a shift. Suddenly, you're no longer the one anxiously waiting for their call, for their attention. You're busy. You're focusing on yourself, building your life. You're the one they're wondering about, the one they can't quite figure out. Because here's the thing, people are drawn to mystery, to strength, to someone who doesn't need anyone else to complete them. Let's put it in a way that's easy to grasp. Imagine a cat. You know how cats don't run up to you the second you walk in. They're doing their own thing, lounging, maybe watching from afar. But the minute they start ignoring you, you feel like you want their attention even more. It's the same with people. When you stop being the one always chasing, always proving yourself, they start noticing you in a different way. Suddenly, you're not an option. They're the ones trying to get a moment of your time. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring altogether. It's not about cutting them off or ignoring them. It's about shifting the center of gravity in your life back to yourself. It's about pulling your focus from "will they choose me" to "I'm choosing myself first." That's where the real magic happens. You're no longer a background character in their life. You're the main character in your own. Now, I know detaching isn't easy, especially when emotions are involved. You want to feel chosen, to feel seen. But here's a powerful truth. By stepping back, you're not losing anything. You're only giving yourself room to grow, to focus, to feel strong within. Sure, you might feel the urge to text them, to remind them you're there. But detachment is about choosing your peace, about creating space for things that truly matter to you, rather than holding on to something that isn't serving you fully. Imagine the change that happens when you start focusing on your goals, your dreams, your happiness, things outside of them. They see that you're no longer just waiting around, no longer there at their beck and call. And here's the thing, when you respect yourself enough to stop chasing, others start respecting you more too. They see you as someone with purpose, with self-respect, with a life that's already fulfilling on its own. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is Stoic detachment in action. You can't control how they respond to you, but you can control how much energy you invest in them. When you reclaim your power like this, people can't help but see you differently. You're no longer just available, you're valuable. Remember, whenever you feel low, just remind yourself, "I'm choosing myself first." It's a powerful statement, one that reminds you that you don't need to be chosen to have value. You're valuable right now, just as you are. When you embrace that, you're no longer waiting to be noticed. You become someone others can't help but notice. Once you master detachment, you're no longer an option waiting in the wings. You're someone who's worth choosing because you're already choosing yourself. And folks, make sure to stay with me tight, because today is the day you draw a line and reclaim your strength. Yes, you've learned to master detachment, but that's only the beginning. This power won't work on its own. You need to live it, breathe it, and let it guide every move. Today, you're taking that control back. So, stick around, because we're just getting started on turning you into someone they can't ignore. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that like button. This video really deserves it. Number 2, set and keep high standards. So folks, let's get real. You might think that lowering your standards will make it easier for people to choose you, that by being easygoing, agreeable, or accepting less than you deserve, you'll somehow make yourself more appealing. But here's the cold truth. Every time you drop your standards, you're actually telling people that you're okay with being treated as an afterthought, as a backup option. You're teaching them that you'll take whatever scraps they're willing to give. And if that's what you're accepting, why would they give you more? Setting high standards isn't about being difficult or impossible to please. It's about knowing what you deserve and refusing to settle for less. Imagine you're at a fine restaurant. You wouldn't accept a half-cooked meal that doesn't meet the level of quality you expected, right? So why are you accepting half-hearted attention, inconsistency, or disrespect in your relationships? When you set high standards, you're putting your worth on display. You're showing that you respect yourself too much to accept less than what aligns with your values. Here's the thing. People are drawn to those who respect themselves. When you're clear on what you want and stand firm in it, others notice. They start seeing you as someone valuable, someone they can't just push around or take lightly. And sure, some people might walk away when they realize you won't accept their half-hearted effort. But that's a good thing. You're filtering out those who don't truly value you, making space for people who do. Think of your standards as a gate. The higher they are, the harder it is for anyone to just walk into your life and take a piece of your energy. Those who really value you will rise to meet those standards, while those who aren't serious will drift away. Setting high standards is like saying, if you're coming into my life, you better bring your best. It's about creating a boundary that protects your worth. Now, don't think of standards as something you only set once. Keeping them is just as important, and it's where many people slip up. It's easy to say you want respect and honesty, but when you're lonely, tired, or second-guessing yourself, it's tempting to compromise. You might tell yourself, maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe this is just how things are. But listen, those moments are when your standards matter most. Here's a powerful reminder for you. I honor my standards because I honor myself. Say it, believe it, and whenever you feel the pull to lower your standards, let that affirmation bring you back. By setting and keeping high standards, you're investing in yourself. You're reminding yourself that your time and energy are valuable, and not everyone is entitled to them. If you're worried that having high standards will drive people away, let me tell you something. You're right. It will. But the people who leave aren't meant to be there in the first place. They're the ones who wanted an easy road, a one-sided arrangement where they get all the benefits without meeting your needs. Let them go. By sticking to your standards, you're making room for those who are willing to put in the effort, who see you as someone worth rising to meet. Imagine the impact this shift has, not only on others, but on you. The moment you set a standard and hold it, you feel stronger. It's a form of self-respect, a way of saying, I'm worth more than a half-effort relationship. And that sense of worth, that confidence, is magnetic. People notice it. They feel it when they're around you, and it sets the tone for every relationship you enter. And look, this isn't just about romance. High standards apply to every part of your life: friendships, work, even family. The people in your life need to know what you're willing to accept and what you're not. It's like creating a blueprint for how you deserve to be treated. Once you do this, your life shifts. People step up, or they step out. Either way, you're left with relationships that are built on respect and value. Now, I know this can feel challenging. It's tough to hold high standards when everyone else seems to be settling. But remember, you're not here to blend in. You're here to stand out. When you start setting and keeping high standards, you're separating yourself from the crowd. You're showing the world that you're not just another person waiting to be chosen. You're someone who's already chosen themselves. So here's the challenge. From today onward, whenever you feel tempted to accept less, remind yourself of this affirmation. I honor my standards because I honor myself. Let that be your anchor. Stand firm, and you'll see the power that comes from living by your values. And folks, make sure to stay with me tight, because today is the day you stop compromising and start standing tall. Setting standards is just the beginning. The real impact comes when you live by them every single day. You've mastered detachment, and now you're setting standards. But these won't work on their own. You have to embody them, breathe them, and let them guide every choice. So, stay with me, because we're not just talking about change, we're talking about transformation. Number 3, forge real connections. Let's talk about what it really means to forge real connections. Too often, we fall into the trap of trying to impress others, thinking that if we show our best sides, they'll like us more. But the truth, real connection isn't about impressing someone. It's about being real with them. It's about bringing down the walls and letting them see who you truly are. Not the polished, filtered version, but the authentic you. People can feel when someone is genuine, and it's that authenticity that builds bonds that actually last. Think about it. Everyone craves connection, but many go about it in ways that are shallow and surface level. Small talk, fake smiles, forced compliments. These things don't leave a lasting impact. But when you take the time to truly listen to someone, to share openly without fear, you create a space where connection can happen. People are drawn to honesty, to those rare moments when someone is willing to be real and vulnerable. Here's the first step to forging a real connection. Stop focusing on impressing and start focusing on understanding. When you genuinely listen, without thinking about what you'll say next or how you'll respond, you show the other person that they're valued. In a world where everyone is eager to talk, simply listening can be one of the most powerful ways to connect. You're giving them the gift of feeling heard, and trust me, that leaves a much deeper impact than any rehearsed line ever could. And it's not just about listening. Being real in a connection means being honest about who you are and what you want. Stop feeling like you need to play a role to make someone like you. People connect with real people. When you show up as your true self, flaws, quirks, and all, you're giving the other person permission to do the same. And that's where real connection is born, where people feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Imagine this. Instead of trying to impress someone on a first date or in a new friendship, you show up with curiosity and openness. You're not there to prove anything, you're there to get to know the other person and let them see the real you. This doesn't just build attraction, it builds respect. It builds a foundation that can grow into something meaningful. Here's an affirmation to keep close as you work on this. I connect by being real, not by being perfect. Say it whenever you feel the urge to put on a mask. Let it remind you that true connection isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. Number 4, stay independent and self-respecting. When it comes to relationships, we often hear about the importance of being supportive, flexible, or even giving it all. But here's the truth that doesn't get mentioned enough. Independence and self-respect are the backbones of any real connection. Without these, you risk losing yourself, bending too far to fit someone else's needs, and ultimately giving away the very qualities that make you valuable. Staying independent isn't about keeping people at a distance or never relying on others. It's about holding on to your sense of self, no matter who comes into your life. Imagine you're a tree with deep roots. No matter how strong the winds or relationships that come your way, you're grounded, steady, and unshaken. You can sway with life's challenges, but your roots, the values, interests, and goals that define you, keep you anchored. When you stay true to these roots, you become someone who others respect, someone who can't be easily swayed or taken for granted. And let's talk about self-respect. It's a trait that's magnetic. When you respect yourself, you set the bar for how others will treat you. People are naturally drawn to those who stand tall, who don't compromise on their values for the sake of pleasing others. Think about it. If you're constantly bending over backward, letting go of your boundaries just to keep someone around, you're sending the message that your own needs don't matter. And if you don't respect your needs, why would they? Self-respect is the quiet confidence that says, I am worth the best, and I won't settle for less. Staying independent and self-respecting also means having your own life, your own goals, and not dropping everything just because someone shows up. You've probably heard the phrase, don't make someone a priority when they only make you an option. This applies here. By keeping your own interests, passions, and routines, you become a complete person, not just an extension of someone else's life. You're showing them that while you enjoy their presence, you don't need it to feel whole. That kind of confidence is rare and irresistible. Let's get into what this looks like practically. Being independent means making time for your own hobbies, friendships, and self-growth. If you've been someone who loses themselves in relationships, this step might feel uncomfortable at first. But think about it. When you invest in yourself, you're cultivating a life that you're excited about, a life where you're the main character. You're no longer relying on someone else to bring you happiness or validation. Instead, you're inviting people to join you in a life you're already fulfilled by. And that's the ultimate magnetism. People are drawn to those who have something going on, who don't revolve around anyone else's approval. And here's an important part: maintaining your self-respect when the temptation to compromise comes along. Maybe they ask you to put aside your plans, to meet them halfway on something that goes against your values, or to accept less than what you know you deserve. Staying self-respecting means saying no when necessary. It means upholding your standards even when it's not easy. Because here's the thing, self-respect isn't about winning someone's favor. It's about honoring your worth, no matter the situation. When people see that you won't budge on your values, they respect you more. They understand that being with you is a privilege, not a right. Here's an affirmation to hold close whenever you feel the urge to compromise your independence or self-respect. I am whole as I am, and I honor my worth above all. Repeat it until it becomes a part of you. Remember, your independence and self-respect are not barriers to connection. They're the very traits that make others respect, value, and want to be with you. And folks, stay tight with me here, because building this strong sense of independence and self-respect is only the beginning. What's coming next will show you how to reinforce this foundation, how to communicate it with confidence, and ultimately, how to become someone people can't ignore. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. This journey deserves it, because today you're setting the tone for the kind of respect and value that will shape every connection in your life. Number 5. Communicate clearly. So here's the deal. No matter how strong your values are or how high your standards, if you can't communicate them clearly, they lose impact. Imagine having a GPS for life, but keeping it hidden, leaving others to guess where you're headed. Without clear communication, misunderstandings, assumptions, and confusion creep in, leaving people unsure of where they stand with you. The truth is, people respect and trust those who speak openly, those who aren't afraid to say what they mean. Clear communication isn't about talking more or dominating conversations. It's about choosing words with purpose, being honest, and setting boundaries in a way that's respectful but firm. Think of communication as your personal guide that lets others know your values, expectations, and limits. When you're clear, people don't have to guess what you mean or how you feel. You're laying it out in a way that makes your intentions unmistakable. Imagine you're building a house. Your words, your tone, and your honesty are the bricks and mortar. If those bricks are weak or put together carelessly, the house won't stand. But if you're precise, strong, and clear with each brick, you're building something solid that others can rely on. This is what clear communication does. It builds trust, stability, and respect in your relationships. Here's a crucial part of clear communication: expressing what you need. Many people shy away from sharing their needs, thinking they'll come across as demanding or too much. But guess what? Not stating your needs only leads to frustration for you and for the other person. When you clearly communicate what you need, you're actually making it easier for others to support and respect you. They're not left guessing, and you're not left feeling resentful. Here's a powerful affirmation to guide you. My needs are valid, and I express them with confidence. Keep this close whenever you feel hesitant to speak up. It's a reminder that your needs aren't burdens. They're part of who you are, and they deserve to be voiced. Saying what you need isn't selfish. It's a form of self-respect. And clear communication goes hand in hand with setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships, yet so many people feel awkward or guilty about setting them. But here's the truth: a boundary isn't a wall. It's a guide that shows people how to interact with you in a way that's healthy and respectful. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, or when you express what you won't tolerate, you're not pushing people away. You're inviting them to understand you better. Now, here's where tone comes into play. How you say something often has more impact than what you say. Clear communication isn't about being blunt or harsh. It's about being honest with kindness and respect. If you need to address a difficult topic, try framing it in a way that's constructive. For example, instead of saying you're always late and it's disrespectful, you might say, I feel disrespected when we don't start on time. Can we agree on a way to improve this? This way, you're addressing the issue without making the other person feel attacked. Clear communication means sharing your truth in a way that opens doors, not closes them. And when you're clear, you become more memorable. People remember those who express themselves honestly, who stand up for their needs, and who communicate with respect and clarity. Think about it. Someone who knows how to speak openly stands out because they make others feel secure. There's no guessing, no wondering. They know where they stand with you, and that's powerful. Here's one more tip. Listen as much as you speak. Communication isn't just about making yourself heard. It's about creating a dialogue. When you truly listen, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're showing that you value the other person's perspective as much as your own. And this kind of listening makes others feel seen and understood, which in turn makes your words more impactful. So, folks, stay tight with me. Up next, we'll dive deeper into self-growth and authenticity to make you someone others genuinely value. Number 6, show your growth. Let's talk about what it means to show your growth and why it's one of the most powerful things you can do to attract respect and deepen connections. When you're committed to growing and improving yourself, you're showing others that you're not someone who's stuck, waiting for life to happen. You're actively shaping your future, refining who you are, and showing that you have the drive to become better. People are naturally drawn to those who are moving forward, because it inspires them to reflect on their own lives. By focusing on your growth, you're not just improving yourself, you're showing others the kind of energy and mindset you bring into any relationship. Showing your growth isn't about bragging or constantly talking about your achievements. It's about living in a way that makes your progress clear. It's about quietly embracing new challenges, improving skills, and pursuing your passions. Think about it. When you're learning, evolving, and leveling up in life, it becomes part of your presence. People sense that you're someone who has depth, someone with a vision. That kind of energy is magnetic. Growth also shows resilience. Life's going to throw challenges at you, and when you face those challenges, learn from them, and keep moving forward, it shows true strength. It tells people you're not one to give up or settle. You're constantly aiming higher. And that's a quality that makes others not only respect you, but want to be around you. Here's an affirmation to carry with you on this journey. I am committed to my growth, and I show it in how I live. Let this guide you as you keep pushing forward. Remember, growth isn't about showing off, it's about showing up. So, here's the thing. Your growth isn't just about you. It's the blueprint for the respect and admiration you're building. Stick with me, because next, we're going to uncover what takes that growth and makes it impossible to ignore. You're not just evolving, you're becoming someone they have to notice. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. You're stepping into the version of you that commands respect every single day. Number 7. Steer clear of push-away behaviors. All right, let's dive into the final key, steering clear of push-away behaviors. This one's crucial because no matter how much you work on yourself, these subtle, often unnoticed behaviors can undo everything, creating distance where you want connection. So, if you're serious about drawing people closer, it's time to get brutally honest and clear out anything that pushes them away. Here's the truth. Many of us unknowingly engage in behaviors that drive people off, thinking we're being helpful, caring, or even strong. Maybe it's over-texting, always checking in, or constantly needing reassurance. These actions seem harmless, but they come across as needy, desperate, or insecure. And they send a message you probably don't intend to send. I don't fully trust you to be here for me, so I'm going to hold on tighter. That's not attraction, it's pressure, and pressure drives people away. Let's put it this way. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you grip too tight, it slips right through your fingers. But if you hold it with an open hand, the sand stays in place. Relationships are similar. Gripping too tight, whether it's through constant checking, seeking validation, or fearing abandonment, creates a tension that's impossible to ignore. People don't want to feel managed, they want to feel chosen. One of the biggest push-away behaviors is over-explaining yourself. When you're constantly justifying your actions, decisions, or emotions, you're not just giving an explanation, you're asking for permission. And over time, this behavior signals insecurity. It's like saying, I'm not confident in who I am or in my choices, so I need you to validate me. Confidence is attractive. Insecurity pushes people away. Trust that your choices and boundaries don't need defending to anyone who genuinely respects you. Then, there's the habit of people-pleasing, sacrificing your needs, your time, your energy, just to keep someone around. This might seem like you're showing dedication, but in reality it says, I don't believe I'm enough as I am, so I'll overgive to make up for it. The outcome? Resentment, frustration, and exhaustion on both sides. People respect those who value themselves enough to say no. When you stand up for your needs instead of bending to theirs, you show self-respect, and that's something they can't help but admire. Another push-away behavior is assuming the worst, constantly doubting their intentions, thinking they're pulling away, or accusing them of losing interest. This erodes trust fast. If someone feels they have to constantly prove themselves or reassure you, the relationship becomes a chore. Remember, relationships are supposed to be a refuge, a space where both of you can feel at ease. If you're always on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop, you're creating a tension that drives them away. Let's talk about comparisons too. Comparing yourself to others, whether it's their ex, friends, or just anyone they interact with, sends a message of insecurity. It's like saying, "I don't trust that I'm good enough, so I'm always on the lookout for competition." When you're confident in who you are and what you bring, you don't need to worry about who else is out there. Comparing yourself just shows them that you're more focused on what you lack than on what you offer. If you're guilty of these push-away behaviors, know this: recognizing them is the first step to real change. You're not stuck with them. The key to breaking these habits is self-awareness and a commitment to trust your own worth. Instead of looking to them for validation, learn to be the one who validates yourself. Imagine the relief you'd feel if you no longer had to chase, prove, or hold on tightly. That's where real attraction begins, when you're so centered in your own value that you don't need to push or pull to keep someone around. Here's an affirmation to guide you. I am enough as I am, and I trust that those meant to be with me will stay. Repeat it whenever you feel the urge to engage in these behaviors. Let it remind you that you're worth more than desperate measures. You don't need to push for love or attention. You just need to be yourself and let the right people come closer. And folks, this is where the change starts. By letting go of these push-away behaviors, you're stepping into a version of yourself that's confident, relaxed, and open. So stay with me, because up next, we'll dig even deeper into what it means to live as someone who naturally attracts the respect, love, and admiration you deserve. So, that's it, folks. You've got everything you need to shift the dynamics and start attracting the respect, admiration, and connection you deserve. We've covered everything from mastering detachment to setting standards, communicating clearly, and steering clear of behaviors that push people away. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content on becoming the best version of yourself. Give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to put these principles into action, and share it with someone who needs this guidance. They'll thank you later. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep applying these steps, stay committed to your growth, and watch as people start seeing you in a whole new light. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.